Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic episode of Keeping It Geekly. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're hanging out with our new guest, Mark Bouchard. We're here to talk about business as usual and everything in between. I had the chance to read this book twice, and I absolutely loved it. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Cody. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but the beauty of this is you rise above, you adapt, you overcome, and we're just going to pre-record this. So for everyone that is in the stream, be sure to check out the description for the link to the Kickstarter of Business As Usual. If you're unable to back, we would love to see you just simply share it. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter. Word of mouth is 100% free, and it costs you absolutely nothing to do. So Mark, I have you down for It Took Luke, Leaf Peppers, even Sonic the Hedgehog Halloween Special by IDW. So many awesome titles under your belt. Was being a comic book writer something that you always envisioned, or did you kind of just stumble onto this path?
I got really into comics in college after reading certain random Venom and Punisher comics here and there as a kid. But I got really into it when I found Jeff Lemire's book Sweet Tooth at this store called Quimby's, which is kind of like a Chicago, it's been around for 35 years, I think. It's like an institution. And I remember not knowing any of the books when I went in there one time, and I was I'd seen Sweet Tooth at my normal comic shop that I was going to at the time, and I was all right. And it really changed everything for me. So.
What was it about the Venom and Cable? Was it the grittiness of those designs back in the day?
Yeah, I liked really how Venom was just eating people's heads and stuff. Yeah. I was 10. I was hell yeah.
We were talking previously about that and backstage with the Sonic the Hedgehog, and how you stumbled onto that with just kind of hitting the ground with coming up with your own work and putting it out there. How was that experience for you when you first, when you started pumping out there and IDW hit you up to come work for them?
Yeah, so I had been doing my own stuff. I had done a couple of comics that I drew, and then I had been writing comics for my friends. So the writing progressed a lot faster. And I had done, the first thing I did was an anthology, and I did 2 pieces in it, but the sort of concept was punk bands, and then cartoonists would team up and talk about mental health problems they had, being on tour, or being away from their families, or being around substances when they're sober or whatever. And so that kind of opened it up, so I met a lot of people, right? Because there was I want to say there was 60 people involved with that book. And then I just kept posting new short comics I would make, and eventually one of the editors on Sonic hit me up, having read It Took Luke, which we published ourselves, and then Oni Press purchased, I think in 2021.
That's so cool. That is so cool to hit the streets running like that, and just keep chipping away and get that work acknowledged and picked up. And it just really goes to show you that no matter no matter how far that dream may feel, or whatever, you can approach it if you just stay consistent with it.
I think that's the big thing that a lot of people don't realize about doing stuff in the arts is for example, this band I just saw, Joyce Manor. I've been listening to them for over a decade, and when I used to see them, they'd play 150, 200 cap rooms, right? And we thought that was big for them at the time. And I just saw them play a 3,300 cap room.
Oh, wow.
But they've been at it since 2011, or probably their first studio materials from 2012. So they've been at it for a while, and it's just the incremental growth, that comes with putting out record after record and then touring it. It's kind of the same with you just keep going, and it's never for me, there's never been oh, this is a huge book for me, or this is gonna open a ton of doors, but it opens a window, or it opens a couple doors and one pans out, it's just consistency, like you said, it's just so key.
And it's the people you meet reaching out and branching out with other work as well while staying consistent. It all kind of feeds into itself, and it's really rewarding to see that, loop back around and reward you for your hard work. So writing for Sonic, I mean, how did you approach this? I know we were talking about the games that you played and everything, and did you kind of like know exactly how you wanted to hit this, or did they have a guideline how they wanted you to start the story?
So the Halloween special they were literally just like, I was just throwing stuff at the wall. Like I came up with like a handful of pitches, and the one that I came up with first was what they went with. So everything else really was not. It didn't even come into play. But it was it was basically just like the only notes I got really were like that it was like too much. There wasn't enough action. It was very much like a character piece initially about the Chaotix, who are like, those are my boys. I love them, from the Vector the Crocodile and the Charmy Bee, So we were, I just like, I know a lot about those characters from playing Sonic Heroes like obsessively as a kid, and it just like translated very like, and I read the IDW comics as well, so like it wasn't like it was hard to hit the voices or anything of any of these characters that I'd worked with, but it was just like it was really cool.
God, I still remember, what was it, Sonic 2, when the Knuckles DLC came out and you needed a whole cartridge to put the Sonic 2 game in to play as Knuckles. That was the good times. So, I mean, wow, like and that's kind of like how you can let everyone know that, like, hey, you're really doing this, right? Like, you can show your friends and family, like, hey, that game I used to play? Like, now I'm writing comics about it. That had to have been such a cool feeling.
Yeah, like I took the bar exam a couple weeks ago, and like 2 days after, I was like, all right, like, got a meeting with Sega, gotta do like this stuff, can't really take any time off, but and
it's crazy too, because I was listening to a deep dive about how like Sonic is like, obviously it's Sega's Mario, but how Sonic's like beginning came and how like fast he moved, which was like the big selling point for him. He moved so fast you could almost barely keep up with him on the Sega system, and it's so awesome to hit such a pivotal character in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it's like the main, like, the two big IP like that they make comics of, right, that I would be like interested in working on are like Sonic and like Hellraiser.
Oh god, yes.
That's kind of like it, but it's like, it's crazy to like, Sonic has such name recognition. Like I'll go into like a job interview and I put it on my resume, right? Because it's like an interesting point. And they're like, so Sonic, I'm like, yeah, like this blue guy, he's my other boss. Like, you'll have to
that's so
answer
cool.
to him. I gotta answer to him too.
That is so cool. And so business as usual. I read this twice. So awesome. I loved the story. I loved like I feel like the deeper meaning behind the surface of it. It was awesome. What inspired this title for you?
So me and Shelby Criswell have been working on books together for a really long time. Like we did, they did a story and Everything Is Going Wrong, that anthology. We did Leaf Peepers together, and then we pitched a graphic novel, about a YA graphic novel, like a really long time ago that didn't end up happening, about a headless horseman. And so this one was kind of like, we'll have these roots in like folk punk music and all this like political stuff associated with it. And we've been like, a few years ago, I started getting really into the movie Death Race 2000. And it's like a movie from the 70s. It's Stallone, like the year before Rocky. And it's basically like by the year 2000, America has become such a fascist state that the only way to placate the populace is by once a year there's a death race where like these WWE style like racers go up against, like, they have to circle the continental US as fast as possible, but they get points for mowing down pedestrians and like children and like elderly people. but like it's all this part of this larger plot to like silence the rebels,
Hmm.
basically, who are trying to like take America back. And it's like that and Idiocracy. Like I thought that those movies were like so well done. Obviously, like one of them's a little more crass than the other one, but so those kind of like formed the basis for like the story I wanted to tell. And books like Maddie Lubchansky's doing, like Boys Weekend, phenomenal. And Shelby lives in Texas, so that like when we formulated this book, we had wanted to like touch on the ice stuff. It was not as big of a problem, right, as it is right now, because this was like 2.5-3 years ago.
Oh,
We started
wow.
working on this, and then
That's
it sort of just,
crazy.
like, popped off. Yeah, it sort of just became a lot more to like the forefront of people's minds, and like in the news and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy because like I read this twice and it felt like so on the nose with how it's being handled today. So to hear that it was written, a few years ago, is mind blowing. It's scary how things like this come true.
Yeah, I did have to do a couple of rewrites because there's like certain things that happened that we had to phase out because like they seemed cartoonishly evil like 18 months ago, and they no longer seem cartoonishly evil because they're happening. But yeah.
Yeah, and it is a brutal take on what's actually happening. That's the crazy part. I really loved just how you showed how like much of a piece of shit ICE is, and how some of these people can be, and how they treat humans as cattle, as target practice. It's sickening, and that's what shocked me so much. Is like it's happening. You hear it in the news almost every other day. That had to have like hit you in such a horrible way to see your book like kind of like come true.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously not like what you want.
Yeah, obviously.
When you're working on something like this, and it was like I remember the first time something happened that we had to write out. Like I just woke up and I like flipped on my phone, like saw the news, and I was like, Shelby, I hope you didn't draw these pages. Like, yeah, we gotta do some doctoring of the script.
So with this being written 3 years ago, how did that
it got like formulated like 3 years ago, so it mostly ended up being written like probably like late 2024.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
How did that collaborative process work between you and the artist? Did you let them have a lot of creative pull, or did you kind of have set ideas on how you wanted certain panels to lay out?
So I kind of, when I work with Shelby, we have a really loose, like scripting is more loose than I generally do just because we work together a lot. And Shelby is really, really good at visual gags. And when I'm doing something like this, I kind of want them to have the ability to just like kind of run free.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like it wasn't like no panel descriptions, right? I'm not exactly precious, but it was like trying to think of how many words the script was. I'll write like 4,000 words for like maybe 3,000 words for like a 20-something page script. This was probably like at 64 pages. This maybe it was like 6,000, 7,000 words. It wasn't like as robust as usual. Shelby came up with pretty much everything character design wise. I was just like, okay, well, they should probably all be wearing black, and that was my contribution to that part of it. And so Shelby generally takes a lot of inspiration from people they know. So like, a lot of these characters are just people in Shelby's life.
Yeah, whoever is Rob, please be a better person.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, just the visuals. Yeah, no, Rob needs to be a better person. Yeah.
So I mean, we have ice getting killed, insane explosions, everything in between. What inspired some of these monsters? Like, what are these guys drawing inspiration from?
Yeah, so they were like, initially it was like it's in the middle of the desert, right? So like obviously Tremors comes to mind, and then we wanted to have them be snakes, but everyone still is calling them sandworms. So I don't really think there's a meaningful distinction there. Basically like sort of like the massive amounts of energy this generator takes to be like to produce energy to produce power, like the electric thrum disturbs these sandworms deep beneath the desert, and it just like agitates them to the point where they're coming to the surface hungry and angry. And yeah, that was kind of it. They really satisfied an element, because it was also helpful to have someone, or not someone, but like an element of the story that's just taking both members of both teams like off the board. I really like when stories start with a big cast and they really thin it out.
Was it difficult balancing that many people? I mean, because there's a huge amount of people too. Was it difficult balancing like all those different characters and personalities?
A little bit, but like I said, like some of them were like created to be. It was created with a large cast so that we could thin it out and then really focus on the few characters who are gonna like get like a solid arc. Because it's like not like it's only 64 pages, right? And that's if we had given every character like a full arc, it would have been crazy. There would have been no room for nothing. But yeah, it's some of them just get wiped off the table.
And we have some of the preview pages here. I really loved like the different colors to, you know, express the different emotions in these panels too. Yeah. And then right here, I really enjoyed this perspective panel where you're kind of seeing it
like
through
some of these like sunsets and stuff.
Yeah.
And like they do a lot of painting. They're doing a lot of like fabric stuff. They're just doing a lot of crazy art stuff, and it's really shown in the comics, I think.
Yeah, I really love how this panel right here, you're watching it through the security camera. I thought that was a really cool perspective view. So these sandworms are insane. And the one thing I really loved is this, how we have the artist doing this paneling, and it's like a big picture diced up into individual panels. I am such a huge fan of that.
Yeah, Shelby's work is really awesome. They did a couple of books at Mad Cave as well called Terminal Punks, and then a middle grade book at Paper Cuts called Heebie Jeebies. Both with Matthew Ehrman, who's a really great comic writer, and I think he's going to start making some more comics again, which is great news for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And is this the sunrise you were talking about earlier?
Oh yeah, just like any of these kind of like painting, like a lot of these like desert, like sort of like sunset, sunrises, like those like pinks and purples and oranges. They've just been painting their ass off.
Oh, that's cool. So this is all. This is done physical, or is this digital?
These are digital, but yeah, Shelby does a lot of physical painting.
That's so
in the
cool.
Studio, yeah. I
love that. So let's go ahead. We're gonna check out some of these characters. I was a big fan of the character designs in this. What was I know this is such a difficult question to ask, but what was some of your favorite characters?
I really like Wendy. I really liked. I love to hate Rob.
Yeah, you did such a good job of writing a character that was like just diabolical, like despicable. The Dead Kennedys reference was just awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, that was really funny. I really liked that one. All right, I thought it was like a great pull to be like, he kind of knows what he's talking about, but like where he is like sort of like entrenched in the scene as he wants to like say, he would have pulled a deeper cut, right? Like, yeah.
And I really, really loved the death scenes in this. Charlene's death scene, the introduction to these sandworms and what they're capable of. And then the ice guard, of course. This guy was such a piece of shit. And I thought you did such a great job with this character painting the mindset of these guys and how they view everyone. And like calling protesters like domestic terrorists, and having that like just perspective, like it's scary how on the nose it is today. And another thing is like the power usage of the center. Like data centers are a thing now a couple years later, and it's insane that like it was almost like predicted, it felt like, in the story.
I liked where you were going with that.
Yeah.
With the data centers, because there's a thing that didn't make it in the book that is on like the promotional material for the book, that the reason the facility is off the grid is because in 2035 all of Texas's power grid is devoted to the mining of cryptocurrency.
And isn't Texas the one that has like their own grid, and it went like down failing, that one time? Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
So they're like, we can't like service it. We're just gonna use all the failing power grid to service Bitcoin mining, and everything else is gonna be off the grid in Texas. And I really wish I wish I could have done more with that, because that would have been really cool, I think, if it was a little longer.
Yeah, and I just loved, like, again, how this was written before and how it's like coming into play now with like the data centers and how much energy consumption they take. Yeah. It's insane too, the rate they're popping up. It's sickening.
Yeah. Well, some good news is that I saw an article yesterday that was like 50 to 60% of them that were announced have like the contracts have fallen through or been like reneged on.
Yeah, so Ohio, I'm from Ohio, and Ohio's getting ready to have one that's and I don't understand how they do this either. How like the government can be like, yeah, we're setting this up, we're gonna get paid for it, but you guys are just gonna get increased energy bills.
Yeah,
like fuck. Ridiculous. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So we have a business as usual digital copy at $12, outstanding price for how big this book is, and just for $8 more you can get a physical copy sent to your doorstep. We have a physical copy and sticker. What's the sticker going to look like?
It's the ice agent getting eaten by the sandworm.
You can ask for a better sticker to put on a notebook or laptop for just $24. We have an awesome tier at $220, original art tier. So what goes into this? Like any certain stipulations?
Shelby has been doing like a ton of art in the studio, has just been doing a lot of studio time. So these are just like a already done, like 9x12 pencil. I thought there was an example of one somewhere in there, but I'll have to add one. I thought I put one in. But they're just like sort of like complex penciled scenes with like a couple of characters. Yeah, there's one. Yeah. And they're just like, we kind of were trying to do it like not quick and dirty, but just like so that it's like a minimal place for stuff to go wrong. So these are already like completed basically.
And we'll pull that up to get a larger look at that in just a few seconds. Let's talk about this last tier, $375. You get some editorial work from Mark. So what goes into this? And then we'll pull up that original artwork.
So for that would be like, I'd do like, say your comic's like 24 pages. I'd do an editorial pass, which means like a round of notes and then like an editorial note. And also, which is like a couple of paragraphs that said like, this is what I know about like your intentions, and this is what I think you should do to like get there. And then also that would include like, just for my purposes, like a 15-minute phone, or like not phone, but like Zoom or something, that I would get the person who would like back that tier would kind of explain what they want out of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would use that to like shape my feedback.
And then for anyone out there who doesn't understand the importance of an editor, can you give us a little bit about why it's important to have an editor?
It's really important to have someone who's like both like knowledgeable about like the working conditions for artists, and also just like to help guide the story a bit. I edited the book Raise Hell for Comixology. It was a Comixology original.
Oh, that's so cool.
And by Jordan Alseca and Ray Nadine. So that one was also one that they did on Kickstarter first, and then Comixology picked it up and they brought me back on.
That is so cool. That's awesome. So anyone out there, be sure to check out this campaign. If you're unable to back, put it on Facebook, Twitter. You're going to have a friend who's going to love this title. And what are you doing? You know, this is an awesome project. Help it get as many backers as humanly possible. So Mark, I know this is your first time on the show, but I always love having creators give us a little bit of advice and then talk about what they're up to outside of creating comics. So for anyone out there looking to dive into writing a comic for the first time, what would be your biggest piece of advice to help them?
Stay short. I'd say don't start off writing like a 600-page magnum opus. You want to start with something that's like 4 to 8 pages, maybe even 1 page. And like the tighter you're able to do your stories shorter, the more control and more, more control you're going to have over the stories you take longer in the long term. So.
Yeah, that is awesome. And, you know, I think a lot of people, they want to write, you know, their 2,000 page grand epic adventure. And that's a pretty big bite to chew. So building that muscle up a little bit, I think helps in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, you go ahead.
So what are you up to outside of creating comics? What books are you reading? What movies, TV shows are you watching? If you play video games, what are you gaming on?
Ooh, I'm what am I doing? I just read and watched Pluto recently for the first time, and the books, I cried every volume. It's 8 volumes, and the show made me cry like 5 out of 8 episodes.
Oh god,
and
that's
it's
good.
not even that much of a downgrade from the manga. It's awesome, and in the English dub, Keith David is one of the main characters. So I was sat. It was amazing. It's like, it kind of goes a little hand in hand with this, as it's like, basically the premise is like, what if robots exist, but also what if robots, very strong robots existing, were the alleged cause of the Iraq war? So it's like the world has been, there are 7 robots that were created before these robot accords. They have nuclear reactors inside them. This country called the United States of Thracia accuses the Kingdom of Persia.
I fucking love it.
Robots of mass destruction, and but it's set in the world of Astro Boy. So Astro Boy is one of these main robots, and like the whole problem with the book is that someone is going around killing these seemingly indestructible robots, and also killing the human scientists that were a part of this thing called the Bora Fact-Finding Commission, which sort of was like the probe to see if they were making robots of mass destruction.
I'm fucking sucked in. This sounds so good, dude.
Phenomenal.
Oh my god.
One of the best comics I've ever read. And it came out in the early 2000s, and I'm just like, and you're not like, if you wanted to watch the Netflix show, I would say you're not missing a ton from the manga. It's like a great adaptation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. Yeah. I've been reading a lot of like Chainsaw Man, and you could read the ending's already out, so you could read like the volumes that you get physically. They're behind. The anime is super duper behind. Oh my god! But the actual physical volumes are behind too.
Yeah, I'm only on 19. I'm waiting for 19. It comes out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, me too. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Change. I can't wait. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, I did. I saw it like a couple months ago. It was very good. Yeah. I really. Did you see the movie Look Back?
I don't think so.
So that's the same mangaka, Tatsuki Fujimoto. He did a book called Look Back. It's about making comics. And it's like, the manga was great, but the movie is just like, it hits. The animation is insane. One of like the best animated movies I've ever seen. It's only 45 or 50 minutes. I'm gonna have to check that. So on Amazon Prime. It's called Look Back. Yeah.
They did another book. I have it. I can't remember the title.
Goodbye, Aerie.
Yes, it was so fucking insane. Oh my god, dude, I loved it. And it's like, it hits you so hard.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my. Yeah,
I just picked up his 20. It's like 22 to 27. It's like the stuff he did before. The story before Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
It's like his like just anthology style stuff, but I haven't dug into it yet. But I gotta. And then my next read it's a Ben Passmore book. I really like his stuff. He did Bottom Feeders, which is like one of my favorite comics of all time, and Sports as Hell, which rocks. But this one's a nonfiction graphic novel about black armed leftist movements. It's called Black Arms to Hold You Up, and I got it for my spouse for Christmas, and they really loved it. So I'm gonna dig into that soon.
That's so cool. So thank you so much for swinging by and hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me
during these technical difficulties. I'm glad that we were able to make it to the end of this. And hopefully we can get you back on in the future. It sounds like you have a lot of awesome things in the pipeline.
I do. I have the only thing I can talk about is I have a Hello Body Horror. It's the Hello Darkness Body Horror special.
Oh, that's so
and that
cool.
comes out in April, at the end of this month. And me and Rye Hickman did the lead story with Jody Troutman on letters. And I'll have more of that flavor of stuff announcing it soon as well.
So check out the description. You can stay up to date with what Mark's up to, and hit hit the link for the Kickstarter. Be sure to purchase this if you're unable to back the campaign. Put it on Facebook, Twitter, word of mouth. It's 100% free, and it costs you absolutely nothing to do. With that being said, guys, it is time for us to wrap up. So I hope you all have a lovely Sunday, but most importantly, keep it geekly.